Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. It is semi-final time. It is upon us. We didn't think about 10 days ago that we would even get this far. Sleepless nights, JG. But ultimately, we've got to this stage in the competition, and we have got 4 incredible tennis players who have made it there. A few have fallen by the wayside, but I think these ones really deserve their place in the semi-finals.
Yeah, we're going to be starting with the men's here. This podcast dedicated to the 4 semi-finalists on the men's, and then we'll do the exact same format as this one straight after for the women. On the men, though, I was just having a look at the seeding. That's how I want to start. On the bottom, we should have seen it coming. Number 2 and number 4 is exactly according to the draw what we would expect. From the top, we should be seeing what's the ones left? 1 and 3, is it?
Well, you should
1 and
be.
3, but we didn't see it because number 1 didn't exist. He got deported. And number 3, Zverev couldn't handle it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he went out to Chapo, didn't he? And we're now left with Matteo Berrettini, the number 7, and the number 5, I believe, is Rafael Nadal. It's number 6.
Yep.
5 or 6. Yeah, same difference. They're not the top ones, obviously, but they have been the best ones. And I think that they're there on their own merit. I thought something really interesting that we heard after that Nadal-Chapo match. I only saw it was coming out a day later that he lost 4 kilos on court during having heat stroke in that match against Shapovalov. He was really struggling. And I think anybody who thought that was all a bit of a bluff, I think you need to think again, really, because he was obviously under a lot of pressure there, and dropping 4 kilos, is that normal?
Is that real?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, no, I've seen it on a few different places online. It keeps on popping up on different searches. I was like, is that serious? Is he actually lost that much weight? But
I saw it on the live chat at first. I wasn't sure if people were just joking. But yeah,
I've seen it a few places.
But yeah, let's get going with them. We'll start with Rafa, I think. Rafa and Nadal Berrettini.
There they are.
For those who didn't get to catch it, watch this the Silk report, what happened earlier. I've not seen it myself, so I'm going to have a recap on that myself. Oh. But Ben did fill me in with what John's predictions were, and he went Berrettini on this one. So that's an indication of where John's at. Before we get straight into ours, Berrettini has been impressive. He really has. Monfils pushed him hard, went to 5 sets. We know what happened with Rafa and Nadal, struggling with the conditions, almost went out. I don't think Berrettini was necessarily pushed as hard because he's just always seemed to be in control in that match. I did catch a little bit of it. He won the final set 6-2. And although he was up 2 sets, it never for one moment felt like he was really slipping. I just felt like it was always going to get over the line eventually. Monfils showed some good fighting spirit, but Berrettini too strong. And the big talking point, what we've had this whole sort of Australian Open and before, has been the weakness of the Berrettini backhand. But I saw a few people online as well saying that it's improved.
Yeah, it has. I mean, John was talking about that actually in the Silk report earlier. Right. Yeah, so it is actually something that in that match against Monfils, maybe it's the opponent as well, though, because when players target it and actually put different looks on his backhand, it might be slightly different. But against Monfils, it did look better. He was more consistent with it. He was actually hitting some winners off it as well. So I don't think it's all going to be that easy for Rafael Nadal just to keep playing into that backhand. I think Berrettini will at least be able to get it into a advantageous position so that he can run round it, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to want to he's not going to be wanting to hit it as much as possible. We know what he's like. He just tries to get round it, and like that hammer of a forehand just comes into play. But
yeah, well, let's have a look at the tweet what relates to it.
Yeah, bear with me. But Berrettini one, there we go.
Yeah. So Berrettini's backhand has improved, however little. It goes up against the worst shot it can get But I think Rafa's cross-court forehand has been generally sharp this tournament. The
Yep.
bigger issue is next game hangover from not being able to break the annoying tree serves.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. I agree with this. I think it is the worst shot for Berrettini, but he has just played 5 sets in one of the most grueling matches I've seen from Rafa in a long time. Are we still going to see the same Rafa back out on court? I hope so. I hope
He's
it's
had
the
an extra
same.
day's rest. He's had an extra day's
I
rest.
hope
I feel
so.
like a lot of people are just looking
What's the
past Rafa.
temperatures? No, what's the temperatures going to be like?
I think it's rain. I've heard people saying it could be raining, so which means we may get a closed roof.
Oh, yeah, true.
Potentially favouring Berrettini with them big serves, but let's wait and see for that. I think this matchup with Rafa right now, he's had the extra day's rest. It's not an injury. You got to remember, he was struggling with fatigue, like the whole heat stroke and fatigue. There's something you can recover from. And I think he's been playing extremely well up until that point. And I've been impressed enough to suggest that Berrettini's going to be up against it. And I think he's going to be in a lot of trouble, especially with that cross-court forehand to the backhand. They're going to be popping off the surface fast. I think Berrettini is going to struggle to deal with it. And I'm a little bit surprised how John was saying it's a 60-40. I think that's what you were saying before. It's a 60-40 match for Berrettini in favour of him. I see it completely different. I think Rafa on Nadal was like a 75-25.
Wow. I mean, I've looked on a few polls. I mean, I even put a poll out there, and Berrettini seems to be getting like a 57% on the selection on the polls as well that I put out, which is pretty crazy. People are really fancying his chances, and I think one of the main reasons being the only person that has stopped him in all of his recent Grand Slams has been Novak Djokovic. And people are thinking, if he wasn't there, would Berrettini go a bit further? And I think that's what's causing
we've been
people
saying it as well, haven't we? But
exactly. So it is a good question because he did get to the final at Wimbledon, and maybe he'll get to another final whenever Novak's not. He's meeting him not along the way, if you know what I mean. So maybe it's only Novak is the guy that can stop Berrettini. Who knows in these Grand Slams? Because he's got that serve. It's formidable.
Yeah, I agree with that. Shout out to Gary in the live chat. I remember saying decent chance this match will be played indoors. I agree. How much is that going to factor into it? I'm bored of all this talk, if I'm honest. We spoke about it. Was it Roland Garros 2 years ago? It was played indoors against Djokovic in the final. Rafa was fine. So let's put it into perspective.
I don't think it's going
to make margins. I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference. The last time they played of note was the US Open. I remember watching that match, and it was a tie break in the first, and then it got more comfortable as it went on. Berrettini's improved a lot since then, but I think the Nadal serves improved a little bit since then as well on the hard court. So we're going to be in for a good match for sure. But I think I'm not as worried as other people are making out. I'm pretty happy he's got Berrettini there, as opposed to say, well, one of the bigger sort of more versatile players than him, like as Medvedev or Zverev or one of them guys. I'm not so bothered about Berrettini.
Well, don't be bothered at your own peril. I think he's got that one-punch knockout power type style, Berrettini, but he does have a lot of weaknesses as well. And this is the thing, that if Rafa can exploit the weaknesses, I think Rafa's got a great chance. And plus, you've got to remember who is going to be more mentally strong in this matchup. I know that we can say, oh, Berrettini's only ever been out to Djokovic. Yeah, but he hasn't come up against Nadal in these tournaments either. So if he'd have come up against Nadal, would it have been the same? Would it have been the same thing that would have happened? Would it have been that he just ends up just going out against any of the big three, not just Djokovic? It could just be when you come up against someone that mentally strong, like he might just go out. JG, are you all right there?
That's so funny, man. I was drinking some water and I looked at the stream and it went down the wrong hole. I was trying to find the mute button before I started like coughing. And I couldn't find it.
You dropped something on the laptop or something.
What do you mean?
No, it just went boom. And like, there was a big noise. I was like, oh, was he all right?
No, that's me coughing. I'm all right, guys. I'm all right.
Kathy's like, you okay, JG?
No, I just need to. I've got water.
Do we send the ambulance round? Oh, he's still going for it. Anyway, that's the question I just want to pose to people. Maybe let us know in the live chat. Do you think that Berrettini would only go out to Djokovic, or do you think anybody of that same mental stability in the latter stages of Grand Slams? Because you can't say that someone like Rafa isn't going to be better than him when it comes to the mental side of the game, because he will be. We've seen it against Shapo. That could have easily been Berrettini potentially in the last round doing the same thing, really. But you don't know. If Rafa doesn't have the heat, if it is played indoors, maybe he's going to be fine. There's not going to be heat stroke. Maybe he's just going to last for the whole entire 5 sets if he needs.
Yeah, let's bring up the tweet about Rafa.
All right, let me just find that one. That's Steph. I think it's this one. Yep.
Yeah. So Rafa Nadal's epic Australian Open win ensures at least one of the big three make the semi-finals for the 70th time in the past 71 Grand Slams. The only time one didn't since 2004, when Federer and Nadal sat out of the 2020 US Open and Djokovic was defaulted in the 4th round. Just insane. I've got to listen. This tweet blows my mind. The only time one of the big three have not made the semis, or at least the semis, was when, in essence, Djokovic got defaulted. Because if he didn't get defaulted, he would have made the semis.
Yeah, for sure, he would have done. That's pretty. Yeah. That's a crazy statistic.
And I wanted to bring this up for another reason, because I think this signifies how good these guys are. And I don't mean necessarily ability-wise, but mentally, they're absolute giants. People talking about Rafa gets preferential treatment, all this, blah, 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 blah. I feel like we addressed that on the last podcast. Ultimately, he's got a game plan, the way he executes mentally, better than most players, better than all of them. And that is why Berrettini, regardless of his assets and his power and the youth on his side, he's missing something which these guys have. And I don't think he's going to get it anytime soon either. It's greatness. And I'm telling you now, you've got to factor that into this matchup. And that's why, for me, I'm putting everything together. I think Rafa's played all right up to this point. He struggled with some heat stroke and a bit of fatigue. He was up 2 sets against Shapo. We're looking well, playing great. If I think he's going to be all right in this one. I really do. I
think, like I said on other podcasts, tennis is, for me, 90% mental, 10% skill, really. Obviously, you could argue that those percentages, but I think all of the top tennis players on tour are that good that it just comes down to how good you are mentally on the court. And that's what differentiates all these top, say, 100 players. Like, they're all amazing, the top 100. But you see, when you get all the way to the top, it's a very, very select few that can get it done on the big occasions. And you saw it earlier on today. We had Felix versus Medvedev. Yeah. Obviously, Medvedev, he's been to a final. He's been and won a Grand Slam, and you got to see it there. It was the experience and it was the mental fortitude of Daniel Medvedev that got him past Felix today. I can't say Felix choked that badly today. He played amazingly well. And Daniel Medvedev dug somewhere deep that only great players can dig. And that's what I mean. Like, that type of thing is proving Daniel Medvedev is he can be great. He's won 1 slam. Others are going to be there for him, I think. That just proved to me he's got a lot of fights. Because you saw what happened to Zverev. That's where the difference is at the moment, I think. Zverev went down to the other Canadian 2 sets to love. Just went out with a whimper. Medvedev is not the same. He's got a fight in him.
Let's save that thought for Medvedev, because we're talking about that match straight after this. Let's give our predictions on this one. I feel like we've spoke about it. We spoke about the conditions. We spoke about the matchup. If you look at the head-to-head, I believe that's on the second one. The head-to-head played won, and that was the US Open last year. We spoke about that as well. 6th seed, 7th seed. Over to the photo, Ben.
Over to the photo.
And let's give our predictions. I'll let you go first. So you said that John had, did he say the sets?
He said Berrettini. I think he said Berrettini in 5. I think
you said 4 off stream. So,
maybe he changed it. I can't remember off the top of my head. But just going off everything I've just said, I just got a feeling that when you meet one of these big players at a slam, it might just be too much for Berrettini. I don't know why. I just think it's going to be a big one. But I think it'll be Rafa in 5.
Rafa in 5, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going Rafael Nadal to win this match in 4. I think he's going to drop a set.
The
I think
classic
it's going to
Berrettini
be...
one.
Yeah, that's what Berrettini does. He goes on off Djokovic as well. I think Rafa's going to come through in 4. And a lot of people agree. We've got Vance saying the same. Blair going Rafa in 4. Juan, Rafa in straight. Jugoslav 5-set win for Matteo.
Oh, yeah.
Karan
Possible as
going
well.
for straight sets Nadal. Seems to be a lot of Rafas, but there's a few. We've got Sam Peroni going, Matteo in 4.
In 4. My decision really comes from if it is going to be like we've seen the cooling of the temperatures since that last Rafa match, and we've seen the rain on the court in these quarterfinals as well. The roof has been closed. I think Rafael Nadal isn't going to suffer in the same way that he did in that quarterfinal. That's the main reason that I'm picking him. Is
Well, I
because
don't like 5, Ben. I don't know why you're predicting 5. That's not a good thing. That's going to be terrible. If Rafa goes to 5, if either of these, if this match goes to 5, whoever comes through, say if in the other one it's a quick 3-setter, they're going to be in big trouble.
Exactly, and that's why. Well, you all know I've got picks for winning the tournament probably, but I'm not going to spoil the party on the next one because we should get over to it. Stefanos Tsitsipas went through against Yannick Sinner. I'll go down to the other graphic. It's just down here. He went through against Yannick Sinner. Bear in mind, myself and JG and many other people, the bookmakers, all had Yannick Sinner to be the winner in this matchup. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't see the first set. I woke up this morning and it was during the rain delay. And there was a breakup already in the second set, Steph. And I started watching the match. I thought, oh, this is a perfect opportunity. I'm just going to get stuck in. It looks like he's playing incredibly well. And I've not seen Stefanos Tsitsipas serve this well ever in his career. It was incredible. And he literally dominated a Sinner who was playing well. Sinner was trying to get into rallies and Steph just dominated him everywhere it went. Big serves, big forehands, big backhands. It looks like he's putting it all together. Over 80% of first serves in. That was it averaging over the whole match. Ridiculous. And I don't think if he plays like that, who can stop this guy? It's going to only take a madman who can literally, I don't know, he has to get a good returner who can get everything back. And look who's on the other side of the court. It's the mad dog Medvedev, the octopus.
It's an interesting matchup. Let's be honest. 12 months ago, they played the same stage in the semi-finals, and Medvedev absolutely annihilated him.
Yep.
Something feels a bit different about this one. Medvedev's come into it after playing 5 sets. He's had to save match point against Felix. There's been about 4 or 5 different situations where Felix could have broken him or had an opportunity or broke back, or obviously the match point, like I said. Felix had that one so close. Like ridiculous. It was like a fingertip away from beating Medvedev. And that's where we saw a different side of Medvedev. We saw him visibly shouting during during the match. We saw him celebrating. He just looked a bit different. And I just think he's been put through the ringer a little bit. Tsitsipas coming into it a little bit fresher. It's going to be a different matchup than last year. And I think it's going to be closer. I'm not sure which way to call it, though.
Well, this is what I was sort of alluding to when John was doing the Silk Report earlier. I sent in a message to him saying, is this... Obviously, we had last year, Tsitsipas came back from 2 sets to love down to beat Rafael Nadal in 5 in the quarterfinal. And then he had to go from there straight in to play Daniel Medvedev, who had gone through, I believe, in straight sets against Rublev. I don't know if that's the...
Yeah, maybe.
I think it was possibly Rublev he knocked out in straight sets anyway. And then he just destroyed Steph. I mean, Steph probably tired in that one. So is this now leveling the playing field? Is Medvedev that much better than Stefanos Tsitsipas that now, after playing 5 sets and Steph cruising through in the best performance I've seen him play in ages? I
mean, he is, Ben. He is. Listen, if we had this matchup presented to us, say, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, everyone says Daniel Medvedev annihilates Tsitsipas. We don't even think about this question. But the more I've been seeing of Tsitsipas, doesn't seem to be injured, seems to be moving well, seems to be going through the draw, beating big opponents, got through Fritz, through adversity. I've been so impressed by him. And it's
amazing.
like Medvedev, on the other hand, he's shown some frailties. Cressy got under his skin. He almost lost to Felix. It's hard. It's a hard one to call. Let's have a look at their head-to-head, because I know they've played so many times.
Sure, yes.
And you can see here they played 8 times. Medvedev leading the head-to-head 6-2.
I think it's quite interesting as well, because the last time they did play, obviously it was at a Grand Slam, but it was on clay. But Tsitsipas cleaned him up in straight sets, I think.
Yeah.
But will that go in your mind, despite it being a different surface? Will that be stuck in his mind? Will Tsitsipas have a slight mental edge on him? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think Roland Garros is a different thing altogether. It's like a different sport at times.
Yeah, it is.
And Medvedev can't pull together a few games, let alone win a match on there.
No, true.
So I don't know. It's a really tough one to pick. But let's have a look through some of the other tweets.
Yeah, sure. I'll just go.
We've got a lot on Medvedev. I think they're all of these.
Should we have this one first?
Yeah, let's start with this. Oh, all right. You want to start here?
Yeah. So we had Steph, you're not going to have a look at who's walking past? No?
I mean, it's awkward. This is another dynamic as well. Just wind it back and play it again. For those who don't know, they hate each other. They don't like each other. We saw them at Labour Cup. They never spoke to each other.
Where's he going?
Medvedev walks past him. He turns his head on him. They don't like each other. We don't have to dress that up any other way. They're going to want to get one over on each other more than ever. I feel like Tsitsipas' dad's going to be vocal. He's probably going to get kicked out the stadium at one point. Medvedev's going to be complaining with umpires. He's probably going to smash a few rackets.
Yeah.
There's going to be drama. It's a match you can't miss. Hopefully everyone has a chance to watch it, depending on what time and what time zone you're living in. But it's going to be fireworks. It's going to be an exciting matchup.
Yeah.
I just can't call it. And I know I'm someone who always has a prediction. I always say my opinion on things. I'm finding this one really tough. And this is another funny moment what happened at the end of that Felix match. And Medvedev said to the I think it was Jim Courier, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
On the call, saying, "I told myself, what would Novak do?" And then the whole crowd started going boo, boo, for mentioning Novak. And then he goes, Roger and Rafa too. Everyone starts cheering. I mean, that's pretty bad, isn't it?
That is very bad, but it is typical of what was going on. John was touching on this in the Silk Report as well, because he said, no, we didn't know if Novak was going to get any boos at the Australian Open or not if he got onto court. Well, now we know he's had his boos, apparently. So that was from the crowd. This one, quite an interesting one from Oleg, saying Daniel Medvedev is only the 4th male player in the Open era to back up his first Grand Slam title with a semi-final at the very next Grand Slam tournament. The other 3 are Murray, reached the final, Lendl and Djokovic. High company is in there.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's with the very best. So that just shows how good Daniel Medvedev is. I've said it many times. I think he's the best player in the world right now.
He showed today.
But he showed today, but he enough struggled today. And I'm not seeing him really struggle like that against, say, someone like a Felix.
Yeah, but did anybody... I know that he faced match point, but you've got to look at it in certain ways, because when there are levels of greatness as well in players, was anybody saying the same about Djokovic when... I know he wasn't 2 sets of love down, when he went through against 5 against Taylor Fritz that time? Were people saying he was really struggling in that one? Not really, but they were just saying that's just his character. He's just that good because he's a great player. We know how good he is in a 5th set. Well, Medvedev might be that good in a 5th set as well. If we see him in more 5th sets, you might find out Daniel Medvedev can do the same. And this is the thing that we're starting to see with Medvedev. Signs of greatness coming through, I think, in the big moments.
Is there another one? I think there's one more. 27th of January 2005 Australian Open. Defending finalist Marat Safin saves match point in the 4th set and beats opponent born August the 8th. 26th of January 2022. So 17 years later, Australian Open. Defending finalist Daniel Medvedev saves match point in the 4th set and beats opponent born August the 8th. What a coincidence this one is.
That's a very big coincidence, isn't it? How is that possible? You can't write this stuff, can you?
No, I just don't know how someone knows this. Like, who's
someone...
putting who puts the two dots together? Fair play, whoever come up with it. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody out there must have some sort of algorithm going on somewhere, but it's incredible how they managed to get all these statistics flying in and around like all the whole tennis world. Where do they pick them up from, though? They just sat on one big piece of information waiting for another one to line up.
Listen, there's some real cool sort of tennis nerds out there. And I say that in a nice way because I do admire them. I don't understand how they know all these things, but fair play. We're sharing it now on the podcast because it's interesting.
It's very interesting.
I think that's all we've got for tweets. So let's get to the prediction.
Yeah. Let me move back to the first page so you can see the two men in question.
In terms of outfit, Tsitsipas wins, by the way. I think out of all of the four men.
Yeah, I don't like agree. Medvedev's one that much. I'm not going to lie.
What about the top two?
The top two. I know you don't really like Rafa's one. I don't mind it that much. If you just change it for a white headband, I'd
no, the headband's the best part of it. But no,
I'd quite like it if you just changed it.
Purple. Yeah, no, I like Tsitsipas. I think he's got the best outfit.
Yeah, it's good.
But that's not what we're guessing. That's not what we're doing here.
So he wins best outfit.
Tsitsipas does win best outfit. Does he win this match? Go on then.
Wow.
Twist my arm. He does. Stefanos Tsitsipas beats Medvedev in 5 sets.
Wow. I
think it's an upset. It's an upset alert.
It could well be, but I've stuck with him the whole way through, and he showed me signs today that anything is possible for Daniil Medvedev. And that little stat that we just brought up saying he just got to the semi-final after winning a Grand Slam just goes to show he's just going deep in every single tournament that he can get his hands on. For me, Daniil Medvedev is going to struggle, but ultimately, I think it's going to be a close 5-set win for Daniil Medvedev.
Wait, 5 sets?
Yeah, I think
so
Steph's
going to 5 sets in both semi-finals.
Steph's going to really take it to him, and it's going to be tooth and nail, and it's going to be so close that you're going to think Tsitsipas, he's going to do it, but Daniil Medvedev, the mental side, and that's what I've been talking about. Both my picks are all down to this.
Well, I'm wondering how this is going to be after 10 sets of tennis.
It's going to be non-existent. I'm going to be like a shell of a person.
But yeah, I've seen so many predictions coming in. I'm not going to read them all out. But MC Quadrio gone for Medvedev in 4. We've had so many. I can't read them all. Steph in 4. We've got George.
Okay.
Gaming with Baramir. Med in 4. I'm trying to pick some of the members.
3 there.
Where's another member who I saw? The Midnight Woodsman. Medvedev 3-1.
Okay.
Yeah, and there we go.
Oh, they've got Ndaye in with Steph and Matteo in 5. Both of them
going for 5 as well. But yeah, this is a really tough one. I didn't know which way to call it. Her going Nadal Medvedev final. On paper, the bookies, that's the one they've got. That is actually my final I predicted as well in the bracket, believe it or not. The final I predicted at the start was Nadal Medvedev. And on the women's, I predicted Iga Azarenka. Azarenka's not there, but Iga's still there. Yeah, I think you've got the actual women's prediction as well. If it's Iga Barty, you called it exactly.
If it is.
They're not bad going.
A big if. But yeah, if it does happen, I will be very happy to see Iga and Ashley Barty get into that final. And then Boring Ben has struck again, unfortunately. I think we've done this one to the death. You know our selections. Let us know in the comments section if you didn't get a chance to get into the live chat. We want to know how all of you people out there are gauging these semi-finals. They're super intriguing because we don't know who's going to be there. Yeah. It could be any of them.
And there's a lot of stake as well. I feel like I've got to end on my piece on Rafa. He's going for 21. I know he said he doesn't really care about Grand Slams, this and that. I think he does care a lot more than he lets on.
He does.
I certainly care. And what I would say with these 4 semi-finalists, I think this is a nice closing remark. It's an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yes.
There's not that real one favourite who stands out. There's not like a Roger Federer figure of, say, 5 years ago or even longer, 10 years ago, or a Djokovic figure for the last however many years. He's been the most dominant guy in these kind of events, especially at the Australian Open. They're not there. This is an opportunity. It's a Rafa who's a bit out of sorts, not the not his prime Rafa, on one of his worst. It's his worst Grand Slam for sure. There's an opportunity to be made here, and let's see who's going to grab history by just grab it with both hands and take it and be in the history books. I'm going for Rafa, and hopefully he can get into this final, and I'm going to be cheering him on all the way. And just to clarify, Ben, before we go, what is your predictions for the two matches?
Rafa to defeat Matteo Berrettini in 5, and Daniel Medvedev to defeat Tsitsipas in 5.
Mad. 10 sets for Ben. I'm going Rafa in 4 and Tsitsipas in 5. But yeah,
amazing.
We'll see you guys very soon. We're going to be doing this same thing for the women's. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you over in that one. If you haven't already, give us a like on the video for this one. Really helps us move through the YouTube algorithms, and subscribe if you're new. We'll see you very soon.
See you in a sec, guys.